Looking to make this Thanksgiving week a little bit sweeter by dominating the sports books in NFL Week 13? Well, my friends, you've come to the right place. Stay tuned for my 6 best bets for this NFL Week 13. Welcome, football fans, to another edition of IDP Plus Bets. What is up, folks? I'm your host, the DGen Doc, and happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving holiday to everybody. And what better time to just sit down, enjoy football, and make some money and cash some bets? What is up, folks? As always, I'm giving out my 6 favorite offensive prop bets, and they're all plus money, and it goes up in higher odds. So the first play I give out is going to be the lowest odds that you hear on the show. That's how we like to do it here. And look, it's the holidays. We got family. We got things to do. So let's get right to it. We're going to start with, so for these games, no Thursday games because of time and things like that. We're just going to go, we got one play for Friday, and the rest of it is for the Sunday slate. So expectation management there. We're going to start with that Black Friday game, and we're going to head on over to Kansas City where the Raiders are taking on the Chiefs, and I'm going to be backing a guy who has done very well in this series, and that is Mr. Travis Kelce, 60-plus receiving yards at plus 115. He has hit this number in 4 out of the last 5 games, including the last time these two teams played just a couple weeks ago, where he had 12 targets and had 90 yards in his last game against these Raiders. They're also beat up on the back end. Safety Marcus Epps is out for the year. Also not practicing and likely out are both cornerbacks Jacorian Bennett and Nate Hobbs. So they're very thin on that back end in the secondary there. And I think that Travis Kelce is going to kind of get open early and often. The Chiefs, I have a feeling they're going to really want to put it on the Raiders here. You know, the Raiders typically do play them close. We'll see, got Aiden O'Connell at the helm. We'll see how much of a shootout it is. But I do think that this game means a little bit more to Mahomes and the Chiefs, who obviously had that Kermit the Frog situation in the offseason that they did not take too kindly to. And let's be honest, I mean, the Chiefs, lost a couple weeks to Buffalo 2 weeks ago, and then they came back and had a performance against the Panthers that was not super comfortable. So I do like them to have some success, and especially Travis Kelce to have 60-plus receiving yards at plus 115. All right, moving along to the Sunday slate. We are going to head on over to Mr. Jack of all trades, Mr. Swiss Army Knife, Mr. Taysom Hill for your New Orleans Saints, tight end, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, whatever it may be. That's why we're going to take him 70-plus rush and receiving yards at plus 135. I just talked about it, is he going to run? Is he going to, catch it out of the backfield? Is he going to be at the tight end position? Or is he going to be taken at the Wildcat? He had a breakout game last week, went for over 100 yards on the ground and added 50-plus through the air. So he really had a monster game. But I think the biggest thing is that the head coach there, special teams coach Rizzini for the New Orleans Saints, he talked about how last week was a good kind of where he wants to be with Taysom Hill touches. Which, if that's the case, if that's what he's shooting for, I mean, Taysom Hill had 17 total touches. Whether it was the 7 catches or the 10 carries, I mean, that's a lot. And going up against the Rams defense is giving up 144 yards on the ground. We just saw Saquon Barkley run absolutely wild on this defense. I know you got Alvin Kamara there, but I think that they understand that, in order for this offense to continue to have the success they've been having with this, no more Dennis Allen. We've got rid of him and bringing in this interim head coach. It's really been the offense that has taken a step forward, and Taysom Hill has been getting more and more involved, and they've seen that with success. So I like that to continue here. So give me a 75-plus rush receiving at plus 135, because let's be honest, do we know if he's going to go off through the air or if he's going to get more through the ground? Let's just cover our bases and do both. All right, next up, we are going to head on over to the AFC South, where we are talking Texans and Jaguars. The Houston Texans coming off a bad loss to the Tennessee Titans. Meanwhile, the Jaguars coming off their bye week there. And we're going to go with the alpha male. We're going to go with Nico Collins, 100 plus receiving yards at plus 140. Well, I know what you're thinking. 100 plus receiving yards. That's a pretty steep price. Yeah, and I still think it's too low. He coming off his hamstring injury, he's only getting healthier. CJ Stroud, he's his CJ Stroud's number one. I know there was conversations about Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, all these other things. He feeds Nico Collins, and for good reasons. I mean, Nico Collins, last time that they played the Jags, earlier in the season, he went for over 150 receiving yards in that game. Jacksonville Jaguars defense giving up over 275 yards in the air on average. Even coming off the bye, they've gotten rid of some people. They've only got 2 wins. You gotta have to think about what are they really playing for on defense. They've been getting torched left and right, and I like that can continue there. Texans, historically have done very well against Jacksonville, and Nico Collins is going to be a big reason why that streak continues this week. All right, folks, we have given out 3 out of my 6 favorite bets for this NFL Week 13 slate, which means it's time to pay the bills. That's right. Let me tell you about our friends. Look, IDP Plus, what we got going on over here. We've got tools, we've got data, we've got articles, we've got videos, we've got it all. And you got to be a membership. If you really want to get everything that we offer, you want to go over to idpplus.com/membership, and I'll give you a deal. I'll give you right now 20% off site-wide with the promo code PROPS. You can finish the season off right with the subscription, get 20% off any subscription. Again, there's specific articles, data, and tools that is just for our subscribers, and plus our subscriber Discord. So get in on that. Also, hey, it's the giving spirit, so we're going to keep up with that with our friends over at FanDuel. IDPplus.com/FanDuel. Get $50 in bonus bets when you deposit just $10. And don't worry, we do not discriminate because we got our friends over at DraftKings too. Get $50 in bonus bets when you deposit $50. That's IDPplus.com/DraftKings and then IDPplus.com/FanDuel. Get them both. Use those bonuses, whatever you fancy. All right, folks, let's get back to it. And we're going to get back to it with maybe the NFL MVP. Never bad to bet on him. That is Lamar Jackson, 250 plus passing yards at plus 155. Look, never bad to bet on Lamar, especially against the NFC, where he's been solid 25-3. He's been crushing outside of his conference, teams that are just not used to playing him. And this is an Eagles team that, yes, although they're playing well, although that defense looks better, they've got some concerns. You had defensive end Bryce Huff go on the IR a couple weeks ago. Now you have defensive end, Brandon Graham. He is out for the season with a torn tricep. So getting pressure on the quarterback is going to be an issue here. Lamar already a difficult quarterback to bring to the ground. And then the big one, Darius Slay is currently in concussion protocol, did not practice today, unlikely to play this week. When Darius Slay went out of the game against the Rams last week, Isaiah Rodgers came in, and Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp absolutely took advantage of him and took him to town. I like for Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. I like for them to target that secondary where they're going to be a bit thin without Slay. They've got some issues with the pass rush, so I like Lamar Jackson to get over 250 plus yards. Look, he has not hit this in the past 2 weeks, but before that, he was on a streak of hitting that in 6 games in a row, going over 250 plus passing yards. I like him to get back to that, and we're going to get a plus 155 there. All right, sticking with that number because it just sounds so good, we're going to go with Jacksonville Jaguars back over to that Texans Jags game. Tank Bigsby, anytime touchdown, plus 155. Yes, Tank Bigsby, the RB1 in Jacksonville, in my opinion. He's just a very, very physical and tough runner. He is finally healthy coming off that ankle injury. He had a full practice today. Meanwhile, talking about health, you got the Houston Texans who are very beat up on the defensive line. They've got 3 starting defensive linemen who are not practicing right now, including Will Anderson, Danico Autry, and Folu Fatukasi. Big man in the middle there. Fatukasi and Anderson did not play last week, so some concerns there that they have not practiced. Also, safety Jalen Petrie, and I know you're saying, why does that affect the run? He plays very much like a linebacker down in the box this season. So he was having a lot of tackles. He is going to be out for really indefinite amount of time. It's probably going to be close to almost 4 to 6 weeks there with a pec injury. So without him and a beat-up defensive line, I like Tank Bigsby to have a day. The Texans already given up 110 yards on the ground and 4.5 yards per rush. Again, he's the most physical runner that the Jaguars have. I like him to punch it in there at a nice plus 155. And then finally, the long shot of the show, folks. Give me Mr. Matthew Stafford, 300 plus receiving yards at a nice, juicy plus 310. Look, it's pretty simple, folks. The New Orleans Saints, since trading away Marshawn Lattimore and losing Paulson Adebo to the IR, have given up 300 plus passing yards in the past 2 weeks. 2 games, excuse me. They did have a bye week in there coming off their bye, but let's see. Kirk Cousins and Jameis Winston. Jameis threw for 395 yards. Kirk threw for 306 yards. I think Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than both of those guys. And he's got better weapons. You've got Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Demarcus Robinson as well is going to play, despite a little, TUI situation for him. Already announced he's going to play. You've got Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington. They've got some wide receivers who can take advantage of this New Orleans defense. And I talked about how their offense had been reinvigorated since Dennis Allen had been fired. But that just means that the Rams are going to have to keep passing and keep scoring points to keep up with them. I actually like this game to be a sneaky shootout. I like Stafford to lead the way with his 300 plus passing yards at plus 310. And, Stafford's numbers have been looking good since his guys have came back. He's had 290 plus yards in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. So I like for him to just get a little bit over what he's been doing due to the defensive secondary he's going against. So give me him 300 plus yards at plus 310 for our long shot here. All right, folks, we are going to do a quick wrap up so you can rapid fire all these bets for you. And then we're going to get out of here and enjoy this Thanksgiving holiday. So for my best bets for NFL Week 13, we've got Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, 60 plus receiving yards against the Las Vegas Raiders at plus 115. We got Taysom Hill, Saints Swiss Army knife, 75 plus rush and receiving yards at plus 135. You got Nico Collins, the alpha dog in Houston, 100 plus receiving yards at plus 140. You got Lamar Jackson to get back to his MVP ways through the air at 250 plus passing yards at plus 155. Tank Bigsby, the RB1 in Duval, anytime touchdown at plus 155. And then finally, our long shot of the show, Mr. Matthew Stafford, 300 plus passing yards at a nice, juicy plus 310. All right, folks, as always, every week I am giving out my 6 favorite plays for the week. On a typical week, I will be doing a Thursday Night Football live edition. Obviously, none this week with the holiday and 3-game slate, but every Thursday I go live and break down that game, do injury analysis, game breakdowns, and then my best bets for the game in particular. And then again, every Friday, it'll be released this week, 6 best bets for the week, baby. All plus money, all going up in odds. And we really, really have been smashing on those long shots. So make sure you sprinkle all of them. All right, folks, from us over at IDP Plus Bets, we hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We hope if you are tailing, best of luck. And don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, folks, I am out of here.
Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.